fans anymore. They're cold. I don't know if the numbering of these episodes makes sense when I'm doing when there's two like that. Two in between episodes. That's okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, Anti-HyperLink here. Welcome back to Let's Play Digimon Adventure PSP, Digimon Adventure 2013, Digimon Adventure, a game that should be fucking ported to the Switch or some other system, but the people that make these Digimon games don't care, and Digimon isn't popular in the West because a bunch of fucking dumbass Americans and Canadians and whoever else thought and still think that Digimon is a Pokemon ripoff. And there's people, there's people that literally say that Digimon is a ripoff of Pokemon, and that the show sucked. If you've seen even like a few minutes of the anime, the Digimon Adventure anime, you would know, and there was a brain in your skull, you would know that it's not a ripoff. Oh, some people without brains do an awful lot of talking. Anyways, I'm not in a very good mood. For starters, this is on top of other things, I finished the actual finale of Spyro the Dragon, editing it, putting it together, and for some reason, Flipchamp is refusing to render my video. Now, shorter videos like Pokédex entries are going by fine. They're not being denied. And I think it's stopping at a certain point. And I'm wondering if now they have some kind of AI fucking automated system scanning through the videos to see what you said and put and did in the video, and like put the text boxes, like, and then that's stopping it because it says, okay, go to the web app. I tried that and it's not working. Before that I tried a solution that someone on Reddit gave, still didn't work. So what is happening? Is Microsoft denying me the rendering of my video because of something in it, or is it just broken? Are the people at Microsoft more concerned with allowing all the fucking bullshit articles about, well, all the articles on MSN that are clearly biased towards Palestine in the Israel or Hamas, in the Israel-Hamas war? Is it something to do with that? Is it something to do with the things that I've said? Saying that the fucking terrorist supporters that are squatting on university land and then acting all innocent but threatening the people that want them gone should be removed? Wanting terrorist supporters out of my fucking country? Wanting the pseudo-liberals that are supporting them to get the fuck out as well? Is it that? I have an incurable, irremovable fucking tumor on my spinal cord. But I don't care about that as much as I care about everything I'm seeing on Google and Microsoft about the Israel-Hamas war, the Russo-Ukrainian war, and fucking China and North Korea supporting Russia, and China threatening NATO because NATO's blaming China for Russia's continued like victories, or blaming them for them continuing to do what they're doing, or just being against them supporting Russia so much, and then China's like, no, you should stop putting the blame on us and talk about world peace. You're fucking supporting Russia, who's fucking bombing the shit out of fucking Ukraine, just like Israel's doing to Gaza, but it's different. You see, Hamas is a terrorist organization. and they attacked Israel. And Israel is trying to find those terrorists, and maybe they should be doing it a different way. But Hamas, the terrorist organization, is using innocent people as a meat shield. And their terrorist supporting buddies that are in Canada, the US, and the UK that are at universities are claiming that it's genocide and acting like Israel's just bombing Gaza to get rid of Palestinians. And Canada and wherever else is just allowing them to do so. They're pseudo-liberals, fucking acting like they're the good guys. There's people in my country out in the streets yelling about spilling Jewish blood. We live in a world today where, anti-Semitism, that's bad, as it should be. Oh, but the anti-Semite is brown and is a Muslim? Oh, okay, well that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, there's no evidence that people on the university lands are violent and anti-Semitic. They're supporting terrorists. If they said, get the terrorist out of our country so that we can control ourselves, then that's different, but they're not. And I have to worry about these terrorist supporters being in my country, and my city, and my neighborhood, and on my fucking street. And how much do you want to bet if a Jewish terrorist organization went to Palestine, killed a bunch of people in Palestine, or a Muslim country, whatever, if a bunch of Jews killed a bunch of Muslims, which is what it was, really, the opposite way. How much do you want to bet do you think these pseudo-liberals would be supporting the Jews? No, they wouldn't. Because they're fucking anti-Semitic. Because they just support anything that Muslims do. I'm sure there's plenty of Muslims that are against it. So good for them. And there are also a bunch of Jews that think that are supporting the terrorists. So fuck them. I highly doubt that if it were the other way around, people would be supporting the terrorists. Is the rampant rise of anti-Semitism in Canada is disgusting. And not just that, there's also Russia and Ukraine, where the former president, like before Putin, of Russia, who was a Western supporter, is now saying that that China or just Russia should be working towards ending, like, getting rid of Ukraine and NATO, or NATO or both. That they're harassing, or they're threatening NATO because NATO is trying to get Ukraine to be a member, which would then mean that there's going to be World War III. So maybe they're right in trying to prevent that, because it's but also them threatening nuclear war, Russia or China or wherever, North Korea and South Korea, fucking India not being against it, China supporting Russia, the Hong Kong and Taiwan, not Thailand, Taiwan being continuously harassed by China, and was there something with the Philippines as well? Are my comments on Microsoft's articles, that most of the fucking articles that are not in support of the terrorists have no comments available on them. And you can barely put anything in the comments without it being against community guidelines. There was a comment that I put where I accidentally put a period in front of a question mark, and that was against community guidelines. And when I fixed the grammar, it was fine. And they also continuously claim that a comment is a duplicate when it's not. I split a comment into 3, and all 3 were fine. So, is this bullshit affecting my ability to render my videos, or is it just typical fucking broken products, terrible services, incompetent employees? Like, I'm basically gonna die of cancer in 3 years. Maybe. I have, like, maybe at the most 10 years. Maybe. And I might live past that. But there's a good chance that the malignant peripheral nerve sheath tumor in my spinal cord, on my spinal cord, is going to kill me within the next decade. At the most, I'll make it through my 30s. Maybe. Like, or I'll get past that. But I worry more about, I have a niece and a nephew, and I have a new nephew who's just a baby. I have to worry about the future of them. I have to worry about my fucking cousin being fucking, sorry, but being fucking brainwashed into supporting terrorists. I don't think she would be, but the way that she is she's kind of a little towards the far left pseudo liberal bullshit. And I'm also seeing fucking far right idiots saying nonsense. So it's like the far right and the far left that I'm still stuck between, that are ruining this country and this world, this fucking planet. And then there are people like who are like, oh well, the people that weren't raised Christian, it's because of that. No, fuck religion. And yeah, maybe that includes Judaism, but to be honest, I am way more in support of Judaism than I am Christianity or Islam. Because Christianity fucking warped a bunch of things in Judaism and added a bunch of nonsense and made it fucking ridiculous and make no sense. Jesus is a human but also a god, and he's God but he's also a separate person, and he sent himself to die for himself, and he's begging himself not to kill himself on the cross. He's on the cross begging his father, who's himself, not to make him die on the cross, which is a little too late. You have fucking nails in your wrists, buddy. You're gonna die. Like, if he's also God, then he can prevent his own death. But if he's sending himself to die for himself, or to die for his sins, for everyone's sins, but he's God, so there's no point. He's not actually dying. He's just putting a human version of himself on Earth who's not human, but is human, is 100% God and 100% human. He's not a demigod, but he's also not. But he's human and he's a god, but he's not a demigod. What? And Islam, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've there's a subreddit called ex-Muslims, and I'm sure they have all kinds of things to say about that. Or ex something. I don't like religion, and I don't like that. I mean, I know that for a fact that Judaism like came from Yahwehism and specifically worshiping one of many gods, like putting one god above the others. It came from polytheism. It came from Canaanite polytheism. And not paganism, because that's a fucking slur. So I have to worry about fucking terrorist supporters being Probably on my street, to be honest. Maybe in my neighborhood, maybe in the city I'm in, maybe not. Definitely in the country. And on top of that, the continuous threat of World War III, or like continuous threat of nuclear war with Russia and China and North Korea. And that's, in conjunction with having fucking cancer that's not curable because the fucking tumor is in a sac that would kill me if it was cut into. Or paralyze me. You can't repair the dural sac, so there'd be no point in trying to get it out. And people continue to fight these fucking ideology wars and not even think about what ideology they're supporting. They just go along with what their friends say or what their family says, or they just go along with what they want to go along with. They don't think, they don't actually talk to the opposite side. No one has conversations, no one wants to be civil. And then people say things like saying that Hamas wants a ceasefire. No, they don't. They're fucking terrorists. They want to be fucking terrorists. Now, maybe Israel is fucking being fucked. Like, they need to stop. They need to, like, maybe target the terrorists a different way. Can they not send people in to Gaza to find the fucking terrorists? Other countries can't go because that would be a fucking breaking a fucking treaty or something. I don't know. Oh, attacking terrorists and that targeting terrorists and killing the meat shield that Hamas has put between them and Israel. That's a war crime. But the terrorism that they committed in the first place is not a war crime. And raping the Jewish girls that they have in custody or whatever, and bragging about how they're excited to rape them. That's fine, right? That's fine because they're brown, because they're Muslims, because these liberal pseudo feminists in the West like have this idea that Islam is a religion of peace. There's no such thing. Well, no, there is, because like Buddhism, maybe. Even Hindus aren't fucking innocent. Hindus just throwing off fireworks, that's the least of anyone's concerns, but fireworks on their holiday when they're not allowed to at 3 a.m. in a fucking plaza right near people's houses because they don't care. Because they're not white, so they can get away with it. And yes, I know there's lots of people in history and right now that get away with things because they're white. But there are people who don't want to prevent any of that, like all of that. They just want to switch it. They just want people who are white to not get away with anything, and people who are not white to get away with the things. Instead of people getting away with things because they're white, they get away with things because they're not white. Instead of people getting away with things because they're men, they get away with things because they're women. Instead of people getting away with things because they're straight, they get away with things because they're gay. And bisexuals don't get away with anything because everyone seems to hate them. The homophobes and the homophobic biphobes hate them because they like the same sex. And then there's gay people or people that are not homophobic that don't like bisexuals because they might as well be straight or whatever. There are biphobic homosexuals or biphobic allies of the fucking Rainbow Committee. Instead of people getting away with things because they're cis, they get away with things because they're trans. And like non-binary shit. And people not even bothering to actually be consistent with defining these things. Oh, it's all personal. No, fuck off. You have to define things clearly. Like, non bigender is technically non-binary, but it's also very binary, and that's under trans, but they're not really transitioning because you can't transition to nothing. There are people who are trans. They're like, oh, this non-binary shit is ridiculous. And then there are people who are gay, who are transphobic. Like, and there are people who are able to comment hateful, disgusting things, or just say that people shouldn't be supporting a YouTuber because he's not a homophobic, transphobic piece of shit. And they get away with it because YouTube loves Muslims. I'm pretty sure that comment is still there. The one that I mentioned. And me, I wasn't civil with what I said to them, calling them disgusting. But telling one Muslim telling another Muslim not to support Ethan because he's not a homophobic, transphobic pile of dog shit. And they can say that, but I can't tell them that they're disgusting and whatever else. And like, seriously, people squatting, like making tents and just living there on public. Yes, it's public land, it's not private property, but you're still squatting. It's like a fucking homeless encampment. You're squatting on university land, protesting in support of terrorists. Because I have yet to see these people specifically be against Hamas, but for Palestine, which is what people should be. They should be against any kind of murder, which I'm against Israel being so, like, just continuing to, like, you think that they would back off a little bit. So I'm against that, but they still have the right to target these terrorists who are hiding among the people of Palestine, who are allowing them to hide among them. Terrorist supporters being allowed to squat on university land and claim that they're peaceful protesters, but then threatening violence against the people who want to remove them. Clearly threatening them. University of Toronto. They threaten the fucking university. These people squatting on university lands until they cut off ties with Israel. The people that are targeting terrorists. Oh yeah, those terrible people wanting to kill terrorists. Oh, you're so innocent and you're a peaceful protester being in support of terrorism. And now, yeah, like the fucking pseudo-liberals who seem to think that it's okay to be an anti-Semite if you're brown. But they are claiming that they're not violent and not anti-Semitic. So maybe they're not anti-Semitic, but they are violent and they are supporting terrorism. They might be different from the people that are like are yelling about spilling Jewish blood. I don't know if they're white pseudo-liberals supporting that. Maybe. I'm gonna restart this. It's not gonna be the beginning of my Digimon episode. Actually, maybe it will be. I don't know. It's already been like 30 minutes, so I'll just put like, I mean, if you're watching the VOD, then you're gonna have to fucking, then you would have had to wait. I guess someone could have clicked through it by now. In the future, if I'm not dead from the cancer killing me, I'll make sure that you know when to click to in order to get past this. If you don't want to deal with it, or if it's the future and all this is settled, which it won't be, because there'll be something new to replace it. Say, you may also like shootings that are anti-Semitic happening in the US and Canada. Oh, and something that was, okay, it wasn't on TikTok, it probably came from TikTok, but someone talking about the book burnings in the Second World War, the Nazis burning things, and then people and like homophobes and transphobes in the comments supporting them burning those books, and then other people saying that they're supporting Nazis by supporting that. That's not what that means. They're just agreeing with them burning those specific books. But what I'm getting at right now is that there seems to be people that are more concerned with the fact that the Nazis were against homosexuality and transgenderism than Judaism or Jewish people. And that's the pseudo-liberals that could be also supporting the terrorists. Meaning pseudo-liberals who are supporting terrorists who care more about, who aren't as concerned about anti-Semitism as they are about homophobia and biphobia and transphobia. It's all kind of clicking that there's far-right anti-Semites who are white supremacists and probably Christians, and they're far left. Well, okay, this is my right, this is my left, but whatever. I don't know why I'm doing that. For some reason, I switched them in my mind because I feel like in Canada, like they never each try to beat the west of the country is more right wing, and the east of the country is more left wing. So it's the opposite directions. But I mean, I guess for you, it's right. That's your left, and that's your right. So you're seeing them that way. Anyways, the far left. This is my left hand. The far left anti-Semites who may not be Muslims, but they're supporting Muslims, or they're brown and Muslims, or one of those things, and they're supporting them. So it's just anti-Semites and anti-Semites. Some are brown, some are white. Some are Christians, some are Muslims. Some are atheists, probably. Some are black, like Kanye, who doesn't like Nazis, but he doesn't like Jewish people either. Well, fuck you, Kanye. And like, do people not realize that? Okay, doesn't it seem more clear that the fucking Jews are not the fucking problem in this world? Clearly, when anti-Semitic Christians and anti-Semitic Muslims are just all over the place, they're the problems. White supremacy and brown supremacy, Middle Eastern supremacy, not Arab, but like not black, not Hispanic, not Asian, and not Semitic. I don't even know what you would call the other one. But people only seem to be against anti-Semitism when it's coming from white supremacists, and not when it's coming from terrorist supporting Muslims. And it's disgusting. And again, that coupled with the Ukraine stuff, with Russia fucking destroying Ukraine and wanting to get rid of the whole fucking country and NATO, and China supporting them, and North Korea supporting them. I feel like we're getting back to being on the brink of World War III again. Canada falling apart, the US falling apart more, the UK falling apart. This world falling apart because of religion, because of ideology, bullshit ideologies, or I don't know. I'm sick of it. And I could say, hey, I might be dead, so why should I care? I might be dead before any of this goes to shit. Well, I care because I have, once again, a niece and a nephew that are already, one is 13 this year and the other's 11. I have 2 step-nephews, and I have another nephew that was just born a few months ago. I also have a cousin that's 24, and another that's 21, and then another that's like 13, 14. And, all the other children in the world, including the ones that are dying from being bombed in Gaza. But Israel is not trying to kill them because they're Palestinian. They're trying to target terrorists. And the terrorists are using the children as a fucking meat shield. So all the people that are so against that should go to Gaza and replace a child in the meat shield. That's what I think. If you're so against the people trying to kill the terrorists, and you're so in support of the terrorists, then go be part of their fucking meat shield. Do the gene pool a favor. Probably you haven't had children. And yeah, if my little cousins, well, they're not really little anymore. Well, the youngest one is. If my nephews or niece were in that situation, I would want to get them out of it. But I wouldn't be supporting terrorists in the meantime. And like China just being a cunt with supporting Russia and not being in defense of Ukraine, and just fucking they own a country now, Laos or something, and with the Taiwan situation and the Hong Kong stuff and the continued bullshit between them and the US, and everything's still going on in the US and Canada and everywhere else with race relations, sex relations, and sexuality relations, and gender identity relations, and whatever else. I'm just so sick of it. I just started to be not in a good mood, so I started reading more shit on MSN and seeing people either supporting the terrorist or seeing them against them. The fact that these conversations are going on at all is hard to deal with. Like, it's hard to deal with having cancer, but it's also hard to deal with having cancer in a world that is being torn apart. Humans are tearing each other apart, but also, climate change and all that as well. No wonder the fucking ETs don't visit us. Oh, and also I can't render my fucking video for some reason. Clipchamp suddenly isn't letting me render a fucking video. And the online app isn't working. And the solutions that people gave to repair and restart the app didn't work. I wonder if they have the same kind of things as YouTube. Because people are are like, oh, we can't say this, we can't do this in our video because it'll be demonetized. Well, is Clipchamp now connected to the internet and you can't render it because you can't render your video if you say something in it or if it sees words on the screen that it doesn't like? I didn't even say anything about any of this shit. Mostly just YouTube being run by idiots or not allowing people to or the when you stream on your mobile device with a game or an emulator, there's no sound. So the streams that I did for YouTube at the end of the Spyro Let's Play, you can't hear any of the game sound because YouTube is fucked. Is it because of that? Is Microsoft now in buddy with Google or something? Like, what the fuck is going on? Or is it just broken because of incompetence? But Microsoft, MSN, it's the same account. It's my Microsoft account.